Hello and Namaste, organizing committee of Science Father and to every listeners. I'm Chaudhary, a recent BSc Agriculture graduate from Agriculture and Forestry University, Rampur, Chitwan, Nepal. Today, I'll be talking about a research article on the topic an analysis of the ginger value chain in Palpa, Nepal. This research article has recently been published in the journal Cogen Food and Agriculture. Let's begin with the introduction. Agriculture is the lead sector for the national economy of Nepal, as agriculture contributes 25.8% to national GDP. Ginger, Gingiber officinale, is the most important spice crop grown in the mid hills of Nepal as high value crops. Nepal ranked 4th in the world for overall ginger production but 16th in terms of overall export value. In 2021 AD, the total productive area and production of ginger in Nepal was reported to be 29,912 hectare and 2,79,206 metric ton respectively. Palpa is a major potential district for the production of ginger with 14,734 metric ton production in 1,150 hectare area in the fiscal year 2020-21. Around 2.17% of Nepal's ginger, that is 6,065,622 kg, is exported to other countries with export value of NRS 448,364,000 in the fiscal year 2020-21, from which 99% export was to India. 3/4 of the export was fresh ginger and remaining was in dried form, locally known as sutho. Here, in this figure, we can see a trend of ginger production in Palpa, Nepal. As we compare from 2011 AD to 2020 AD, in the fiscal year 2013-14, the production was highest, which was 26,520 metric ton, while on the other hand, the production was lowest in the year 2019-20, which was 10,516 metric ton. Similarly, if we talk about productivity, the highest productivity was in 2020-21, which is 12.81 metric ton per hectare. Similarly, the lowest productivity was in the fiscal year 2013-14, which was 7.02 metric ton per hectare. Moving on to the statement of the problems. The first one is the export percentage of ginger from Nepal has fallen down from 2.96%, that is 8,846,931 kg, to 2.17%, that is 6,065,622 kg. In Palpa, the area and production of ginger has decreased from 1,282 hectare with 15,205 metric ton to 1,150 hectare with 14,734 metric ton. Low quality of produce, access to limited markets, multiple taxes and unofficial payments during transportation, involvement of many middlemen in marketing are the constraints of ginger at marketing level. And the last one from this slide is the inefficient management practices have resulted in low production and higher loss in ginger farming. Let's talk about the rationale of the study. Almost 99% of the ginger export is to our neighboring country, India. As described in TEPC 2021, the income per unit area from ginger is much higher compared to other traditional crops. The findings would help to know the effective marketing channel which provides right price of their product to ginger farmers. The result of the study would help ginger growers minimize the loss and encourage them to grow more gingers in their area. The last one, the major production and marketing problems related to ginger farming would be identified. Talking about the objectives of the study, there are two types of objectives, general and specific. The general objective is to analyze the value chain of ginger in Palpa, Nepal, and the specific objectives of this study are: number one, to assess the socio-economic characteristics of ginger growers in Palpa, Nepal, to calculate the benefit cost ratio, marketing margin, price spread and producer share of ginger in Palpa, Nepal, to develop existing value chain map of ginger in Palpa, Nepal, and to analyze the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats SWOT of ginger production in Palpa, Nepal. As a review, various journals, abstracts, theses, books, internet, and other publications were searched and used as a source of literatures. Literature review was done on following headings: history of ginger, trend analysis of ginger productive area, production and productivity and export in Palpa, Nepal, valuation market analysis of ginger subsector, production and marketing constraints of ginger, and benefit cost ratio, producers share, gross margin, marketing margin, and other various economic variables. In the research methodology, the site of study were Banaskali Rural Municipality, Nisti Rural Municipality, Purakhala Rural Municipality, and Rampur Municipality, which are shown in the map of Nepal depicting the study site. The survey research design was used in the study. For the sample and sampling technique, a total of 97 ginger growers and 10 traders were selected as a sample by simple random sampling technique. Sample size was determined by using Sloven's formula, which is small n is equal to capital N upon 1 plus capital N E square, and this was taken from the source Barawadi et al. 2020, where the small n is equal to sample size, capital N is equal to total sampling population, and the E is equal to margin of error. The two sources of data collection: primary data such as household survey, key informant interview, focus group discussion, and second data such as MOAD, FOA stat, EC mode, annual reports, journal articles, websites, news, Central Bureau of Statistics. Regarding the data analysis technique, the data were analyzed by using SPSS and MS Excel software and analytical tools like descriptive statistics, frequency distribution, chi-square test, and independent sample t-test, and so on. Some of the formula used are gross margin is equal to revenue minus cost of goods sold upon revenue whole into 100, and the benefit cost ratio is equal to gross return upon total cost, where gross return is equal to total quantity of ginger marketed in kg times price per unit of ginger in Rs. Total cost is equal to sum of all the variable cost items in the production process. The other formulas are price spread is equal to retailer's price minus farm gate price, producer share is equal to PFAPR into 100, marketing margin is equal to retailer's sale price minus net price received by producers minus marketing cost. The problems were ranked by using force triangle techniques, where IMP is equal to summation of SI times FI whole upon N. About one of the important findings of the research, the economics of ginger production, and we are looking at a table of benefit cost ratio of ginger in Palpa, Nepal from the field survey 2022. Among the variable cost, the maximum coverage is done by the seed alone, which is 198,207.8 out of 324,751.8, and the cost per quintal is found to be 3,424, and the cost per kg similarly is 34.24 NRS, and the red color marking is shown as the BC ratio, which is 1.06, which means the production of ginger is still profitable. The another important finding was the Cobb-Douglas production function of ginger production in Palpa, Nepal. Out of 3 independent variables included in regression analysis, the cost of seed and manure were both found to be significant at a 1% level of significance, while the cost of human labor was not found statistically significant in ginger production in the study area. In our study, the regression coefficient of seed was 0.588, which indicates that a unit increase in seed cost gross return could be increased by 0.588. Similarly, a unit increase in human labor could increase the gross return by 0.215. Total manure cost could increase the gross return by 0.091. The results indicated that the explanatory factors in the model explained 94.2% of the variation in the dependent variables after taking account of the degree of freedom. The sum of regression of all inputs taken into account The recent function turned out to be 0.894, which indicates that the production function exhibited an increase at decreasing return scale. This implies that if all inputs specified in the production function are increased by unity, the gross return will increase by about 0.894. In the table, the relationship between family type and annual income of ginger growers in Palpa, Nepal is shown. The annual income of nuclear family was 346,428.57, while that of joint family was 302,898.55. Similarly, on another table, the relationship between grading of ginger and the income from ginger in Palpa, Nepal is shown. When grading performed, the income was 50,587.98, while in case of grading not performed, the income was 24,115. The value chain mapping of ginger in Palpa district, Nepal is shown. We can see the actors involved, their functions, and the enablers who enables their functions as shown in the diagram. Finding its SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Climatic suitability, traditionally cultivated. High return for ginger compared to cereals are some of the strengths. Weaknesses are inadequate technical knowledge, in production inadequate storage facilities. Similar opportunities are availability of quality seed, availability of governmental and private sector service providers, and the last one, threats are rise of inflation causing stoppage of production pockets, dramatic price and fluctuation may cause loss, etc. Some of the major actors of two channels are shown. In channel 1, the fresh ginger was sold by the producer at NRS 34.24, and while reaching to consumer, the price reached to NRS 80. Similarly, the dried ginger was sold by the producer at NRS 250, and while reaching to the consumer, the price reached to NRS 200. In channel 2, the fresh ginger when sold by the producer was at price NRS 34.24, and while reaching to the consumer, it reaches to the price NRS 75. Similarly, the dried ginger which was sold by the producer at NRS 250, when reaching to the consumer, the price reaches to NRS 1000. Here, the marketing margin produces shares of fresh and dried ginger in two channels are shown. As we can see in the table, the producer share of fresh ginger in channel 1 is 50%, and that of dried ginger is 25%. Similarly, in channel 2, the producer share is 73.33%, while that of dried ginger is 50%. The production and marketing constraints are shown. While ranking them in rank 1 of major production constraints, here comes the lower value of ginger and its products at market, while in case of major marketing constraints, in rank 1, there is unavailability of right price at market. And most of the farmers are literate and fall on economically active groups, so they could be more responsive to the new technology when provided with proper technical guidance. The beach ratio calculated from the field survey is found to be 1.06, along with the cost of production per kg to be NRS 34.24. The main actors of value chain of ginger were input suppliers, producers or farmers, collectors, processors, retailers, and consumers in the study area. The most practiced marketing channel in the study area was farmers to local retailers to consumers, which is profitable to farmers. And the last one, the low value of ginger and its product market was the major production problem, and unavailability of right price and market was the major marketing problem. The listeners, thank you for listening me.